I stood at the back of my brother's wedding reception, watching him celebrate with 200 guests in a venue that cost more than my annual rent. 6 months earlier, when I lost my job and begged him for a small loan to cover my mortgage, he looked me in the eye and said, "I can't help you. I have my own expenses." Now he was spending $60,000 on a wedding. I walked up to the microphone during the speeches, pulled out a folder, and said, "Before we continue, there's something everyone needs to know about the groom." The room went silent. My brother's face went white, and what I revealed destroyed him in front of everyone he loved. My name is Daniel Grant, and I'm 35 years old. I live in Orlando, Florida. For the past 12 years, I worked as an operations manager at a logistics company. I was good at my job. I was stable. I had a mortgage, a car, a life I'd built from nothing. Then the company downsized, and I was let go. No warning. No severance package beyond the legally required minimum. Just a meeting with HR, a box for my desk items, and an escort to the parking lot. I was devastated. But I told myself I'd find something new. I had savings. I had experience. I'd be fine. Except I wasn't fine. The job market was brutal. I sent out hundreds of applications. I went to dozens of interviews. Nothing stuck. Weeks turned into months. My savings ran out. My mortgage payments started piling up. I was drowning, and I needed help. My younger brother, Marcus, is 32. He's a corporate lawyer at a prestigious firm in Miami. He makes over $200,000 a year. We grew up close. We shared a room until I left for college. We played basketball in the driveway. We had each other's backs. Or so I thought. When I was 22 and Marcus was 19, I lent him $15,000 to help pay for law school. I'd been working full-time, saving every penny, and when he told me he couldn't afford his tuition, I didn't hesitate. "I'll pay you back," he promised. He never did. I didn't push it. I told myself he'd pay me back when he could. That family was more important than money. Years passed. Marcus graduated. He got his law degree. He landed his dream job. He started making serious money. He bought a luxury condo. He drove a BMW. He took expensive vacations. But he never paid me back. I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to cause tension. I told myself it didn't matter. Until I lost my job. 3 months after I was laid off, I was in serious trouble. My mortgage was 2 months behind. My credit cards were maxed out. I was eating ramen and skipping meals to save money. I swallowed my pride and called Marcus. "Hey man, I need to talk to you about something." "What's up?" he said, distracted. "I'm in a tough spot. I lost my job a few months ago, and I'm struggling to keep up with my mortgage. I was wondering if you could lend me some money. Just enough to cover a few months while I find something new." There was a long pause. "How much are you talking about?" Marcus asked. $5,000. Maybe 10 if you can swing it. "I know it's a lot, but..." "Daniel, I can't help you." I blinked. "What?" "I said I can't help you. I have my own expenses." "Marcus, I'm about to lose my house." "I'm sorry, man. But I'm planning a wedding. I'm paying for a honeymoon. I've got a lot on my plate right now." "A wedding?" I repeated. "Marcus, I gave you $15,000 for law school. I never asked you to pay me back. And now I'm asking for help and you're telling me no because of a wedding." "That was years ago," Marcus said, his tone defensive. "I didn't ask you for that money. You offered. Because you needed it. And I appreciated it. But that doesn't mean I owe you now." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Marcus, I'm your brother. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for a loan. I'll pay you back." "Look, Daniel, I'm not a bank. I can't just hand out money whenever someone asks." "Someone," I said, my voice rising. "I'm not someone. I'm your brother." "I have to go," Marcus said. "Good luck with everything." And he hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. My brother, the person I'd helped through law school, the person I'd supported my entire life, had just refused to help me when I needed it most. Over the next few weeks, I scraped together enough money to avoid foreclosure. I sold my car. I borrowed from friends. I did freelance work at night. I survived. Barely. And during that time, I watched Marcus post photos on social media. Photos of him and his fiancée, Sarah, touring wedding venues. Photos of engagement parties. Photos of his bachelor party in Las Vegas. He was spending tens of thousands of dollars on a wedding while I was struggling to keep a roof over my head. And he didn't care. For months after Marcus refused to help me, I finally found a new job. It wasn't as good as my old one, but it was enough. I stabilized. I caught up on my mortgage. I started rebuilding my life. But I couldn't forget what Marcus had done. Or, more accurately, what he hadn't done. And then I got the invitation. A formal wedding invitation. Printed on expensive cardstock. Gold embossed lettering. Marcus Grant and Sarah Thompson request the honor of your presence at their wedding. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to throw it away. Part of me wanted to skip the wedding entirely. But another part of me, the part that had been humiliated, ignored, and discarded, wanted to go. Not to celebrate, but to confront. I started digging. I wanted to know exactly how much Marcus was spending on this wedding. I wanted to understand just how little my life meant to him compared to his image. I found the venue's website. The starting package was $40,000. Marcus had mentioned upgrading everything, so I estimated he was spending closer to $60,000. $60,000. While I was selling my car and eating ramen. But that wasn't all I found. I started going through old financial records, old emails, old messages, and I discovered something interesting. Marcus had been lying. Not just to me, but to our entire family. For years, he'd told everyone that he paid his own way through law school, that he'd worked 3 jobs and taken out loans, that he'd earned everything himself. But I had proof that I'd lent him $15,000. And I had proof that he never paid me back. I also discovered something else. Something much worse. I found emails between Marcus and our parents. Emails from 5 years ago, right after he'd started his law career. Our parents had lent him $25,000 to help with his down payment on his condo. He'd promised to pay them back within 2 years. He never did. And when our mom mentioned it once at a family dinner, Marcus got defensive. I already paid you back, he said. Don't you remember? Our mom looked confused. I don't think. I gave you a check last year, Marcus insisted. Maybe you forgot to deposit it. He lied. Right to her face. And our parents, who trusted him completely, believed him. I dug deeper. I found more lies. More unpaid debts. More people Marcus had borrowed from and never repaid. He owed our cousin $3,000. He owed his best friend from college $5,000. He owed Sarah's parents $10,000 for emergency car repairs that turned out to be a vacation to Europe. Marcus had been borrowing money from everyone around him for years, never paying anyone back and lying about it when confronted. And now he was throwing a $60,000 wedding. I printed everything. Every email. Every loan agreement. Every text message. I organized it all into a folder. And I decided I was going to his wedding. The wedding was held at a luxury estate outside Miami. White tents. String lights. A live band. An open bar. Everything was perfect. Everything was expensive. I arrived in a borrowed suit. I checked in at the guest list. I found my seat at a table in the back. Marcus didn't even notice me. He was too busy taking photos, shaking hands, playing the role of the perfect groom. Sarah looked beautiful. She seemed genuinely happy. I almost felt bad for what I was about to do. Almost. Dinner was served. Speeches began. The maid of honor gave a tearful toast. The best man told embarrassing stories. Everyone laughed. Everyone clapped. Then the MC said, "If anyone else would like to say a few words, now's the time." I stood up. Marcus saw me. His expression shifted from confusion to alarm. I walked to the front of the room, holding my folder. The MC handed me the microphone. "Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel, Marcus's older brother." Polite applause. "I want to start by saying congratulations to Marcus and Sarah. This is a beautiful wedding. Everything looks incredible." Marcus relaxed slightly. He probably thought I was going to give a normal speech. I wasn't. "I also want to talk about something important," I continued. "Something that's been weighing on me for a long time. And I think it's important that everyone here knows the truth about the man you're celebrating today." The room went silent. Marcus stood up. "Daniel, don't." 6 months ago, I said, ignoring him, I lost my job. I was about to lose my house. I called Marcus and asked him for a loan. $5,000. Just enough to keep me afloat while I found work. People started shifting in their seats. Marcus told me he couldn't help me. He said he had his own expenses. He was planning a wedding. I gestured around the room. This wedding, which, by the way, cost approximately $60,000. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Marcus's face was red. "Daniel, stop. This isn't the place." "Let me finish," I said calmly. "Because here's the thing. 12 years ago, when Marcus was in law school, I lent him $15,000. He promised he'd pay me back. He never did." I opened the folder and pulled out a document. "I have the loan agreement right here, signed by both of us." I held up the paper so everyone could see. Marcus borrowed $15,000 from me and never paid it back. And when I asked him for help during the worst time of my life, he refused. Sarah stood up, her face pale. "Marcus, is this true?" Marcus opened his mouth, but no words came out. "But that's not all," I continued. "Because Marcus has a pattern. 5 years ago, he borrowed $25,000 from our parents for a down payment on his condo. He promised to pay them back. He didn't." I pulled out printed emails. I have emails between Marcus and our parents where they ask about repayment. And I have messages where Marcus lies and says he already paid them back. Our mother, sitting at a table near the front, looked horrified. "Marcus, you told us you gave us a check." I thought I did," Marcus stammered. "You didn't," I said. "You lied." I pulled out more documents. Marcus also owes our cousin Jake $3,000. His college friend Brian $5,000. And Sarah's parents $10,000 for car repairs that were actually a trip to Europe. Sarah turned to Marcus, her eyes wide. "You told me that trip was paid for with your bonus." "I can explain," Marcus started. "There's nothing to explain," I said. "Marcus has been borrowing money from everyone around him for years. He never pays anyone back. He lies about it. And he spends money he doesn't have on things he doesn't need." I looked directly at him. 6 months ago, when I was losing everything, you had the money to help me. You just chose not to. Because your image was more important than my life. The room was completely silent. 200 people stared at Marcus, waiting for him to respond. He couldn't. He just stood there, exposed, destroyed. Sarah walked up to Marcus, tears streaming down her face. "Is this true? Did you borrow money from my parents and lie about it?" "Sarah, Answer me," she shouted. Marcus looked around the room, desperate. "I was going to pay everyone back. I needed time." "You've had years," I said. "You make over $200,000 a year, Marcus. You could have paid everyone back 10 times over. You just chose not to." "You don't understand," Marcus said, his voice shaking. "I have expenses. I have debt. You have a BMW," I interrupted. "You have a luxury condo. You take vacations. You live beyond your means and expect everyone else to subsidize your lifestyle." Sarah turned to her parents, who were sitting at another table, looking devastated. "Mom, Dad, is this true? Did Marcus borrow money from you?" Sarah's father nodded slowly. "He said he needed $10,000 for emergency car repairs. We gave it to him because we wanted to help. And he never paid you back? Sarah asked. No, her father said quietly. Sarah looked at Marcus, her expression a mix of heartbreak and fury. How could you? I was going to pay them back, Marcus said desperately. I swear. When? Sarah demanded. After this $60,000 wedding? After the $30,000 honeymoon you booked? Marcus didn't answer. Sarah pulled off her engagement ring and threw it at him. I can't marry you. Sarah, please. No, she said, her voice breaking. I can't marry someone who lies. Who uses people? Who cares more about appearances than integrity? She turned and walked out of the reception hall. Her parents followed. Half the guests started leaving. Marcus stood there alone, watching his wedding fall apart. I walked up to him and handed him the folder. These are copies of every loan agreement, every unpaid debt, every lie, I said quietly. You can keep denying it. But the truth is out now. Marcus looked at me, his eyes filled with rage and tears. You destroyed my wedding. No, I said. You destroyed it. I just made sure everyone knew who you really are. He didn't respond. He just stood there, holding the folder, while the remaining guests whispered and stared. I walked out of the venue, got in my car, and drove home. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. My mom called, crying. Daniel, I can't believe he lied to us. My dad was furious. I trusted him. We gave him that money because he said he needed it. Sarah's parents sent me a message thanking me for exposing the truth before their daughter made a terrible mistake. And Marcus? He sent me one text. I hope you're happy. You ruined my life. I didn't respond. It's been 3 months since Marcus's wedding. Or, more accurately, his non-wedding. Sarah called off the engagement. She moved out of their shared condo. She told me she's grateful I spoke up when I did. I would have married him, she said. And I would have spent years discovering what kind of person he really is. You saved me from that. Marcus lost more than his fiancée. He lost the respect of our family. He lost friendships. He lost credibility. Our parents demanded he pay back the $25,000. He's been making monthly payments, but it'll take him years. Our cousin and his college friend are pursuing legal action to recover their loans. And me? I'm doing fine. I'm still working at my new job. I'm rebuilding my savings. I'm stable. And I'm at peace with what I did. Because I didn't ruin Marcus's wedding out of spite. I did it because the truth needed to come out. For years, Marcus had been using people. Borrowing money he never intended to pay back. Lying when confronted. Building a life on other people's generosity while refusing to help anyone in return. And when I needed him most, he turned his back on me. So I made sure everyone knew who he really was. A few weeks ago, I ran into an old friend of Marcus's at a coffee shop. He recognized me. Hey, Daniel. I heard about what happened at Marcus's wedding. I tensed. Yeah, I just want to say, thank you. Marcus owed me money too. $5,000. He told me he'd pay me back years ago. He never did. When you exposed him, it gave me the courage to demand repayment. I'm taking him to small claims court. Good, I said. He should be held accountable. The guy nodded. He's been getting away with this for too long. Someone needed to stop him. Marcus and I haven't spoken since the wedding. I don't know if we ever will. Part of me feels sad about that. He's my brother. We grew up together. We were supposed to have each other's backs. But he didn't have mine. And I'm not going to pretend that's okay just because we share DNA. Family isn't just about blood. It's about loyalty. It's about showing up when someone needs you. It's about integrity. Marcus had none of that. So I walked away. And I don't regret it. If you're reading this and you have someone in your life who takes advantage of you, know this. You don't owe them your silence. You don't owe them protection. You don't owe them loyalty if they've never shown you any. For years, I protected Marcus. I didn't bring up the money he owed me. I didn't call him out for his lies. I stayed quiet because I thought that's what family was supposed to do. But staying quiet didn't protect me. It just enabled him. And when I finally needed help, when I was at my lowest, he proved that all those years of loyalty meant nothing to him. So I stopped protecting him. And I told the truth. Was it dramatic? Yes. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Did it destroy relationships? It did. But it also freed me. Because I'm no longer carrying the weight of his lies. I'm no longer pretending that his behavior is acceptable. I'm no longer the person who gives and gives while he takes and takes. Marcus made his choices. And those choices had consequences. He chose to borrow money he never intended to pay back. He chose to lie to our parents, to his friends, to his fiancée. He chose to spend $60,000 on a wedding while refusing to help his brother keep a roof over his head. And when the truth came out, he lost everything. That's not my fault. That's his. Today, I'm stronger than I've ever been. I have a job I'm proud of. I have a life I've rebuilt on my own terms. I'm surrounded by people who actually care about me. And I'm no longer held back by someone who only valued me when I was useful. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below. Share your experiences. Let's support each other. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about standing up, fighting back, and reclaiming your life. Thanks for listening.